Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 6 of the Casual Weebs podcast. Listen, we're going to get straight into it because this past week has been absolutely insane on both the YouTube end and the anime end. I mean, listen, you guys blew this shit up last week. I mean, I don't have the exact numbers, but we've gotten over 10,000 accumulated views just last week, hundreds of likes, so many people subscribed. I mean, dude, I was at one point looking like, oh, like we have 8 people that subscribed last week. Maybe we'll get 10. Nearly got 20. And then my favorite part, the best part, everyone who commented. If you commented, if you just liked or viewed, we love you. We appreciate you. I enjoyed having so many conversations with you guys. It was a ton of fun. I love interacting with you guys. And then on the anime end, I mean, the new season started, and man, do we have some absolute heat. I mean, the Windbreaker, amazing. Bartender, that looked good. A Condition Called Love, amazing. I mean, I believe The Time I Got Reincarnated Slime, that came out this week as well. There's just so many animes that just came out, and man, did they come out with that fire. So, I mean, I think we got to talk about Windbreaker first.
Dude, it's so good. I mean, I was going in with some pretty lofty expectations. I mean, like the animation and the art looks awesome, but once you see it like that first episode, it definitely delivered. It was really sick. Cloverworks, super good job. Like the fight scenes were super fluid. I feel like the design for the characters is disgusting. Like everybody's got like some serious drip going on. So that was really cool. Like I like the designs and like the outfits and stuff. Um, Not even getting into the story, just like the way everything looked was really sick. Like very fluid, good animation. Um, but yeah, Windbreaker was awesome. Very, very good first episode. I'm definitely hooked.
Yeah, not only was it good, it was so good that we're actually coming out with another video, I believe the day after this one gets posted, of why you should watch Windbreaker. Because it is that good and we need to spread the word of Windbreaker. It was amazing. I mean, like you said, the animation, the characters are amazing, and they all have like a unique kind of look to them, which it just looks good. They just look cool. Tachibana is one of the best characters ever. I
Yes.
would be screaming her name
Let's
from the
go.
rooftops. I'd be waifu of the year because there's no fan service. She's an actual competent female character. Dude, she's Kukasaki from Jujutsu Kaisen. They're the same character,
Oh
except
yeah.
Tachibana is actually going to get screen time. You know, because with Jujutsu Kaisen, we're like, oh, let's just make it the Gojo show. But like Tachibana's actually getting that screen time. I'm so hyped for that. That's gonna look sick. The fight scenes were absolutely amazing, and the power structure, in my opinion, was just a lot better because we're not getting an incredibly weak character that we're then gonna have some absolute speed run to see how fast we can turn them into a literal god with like the most of the kind of like the underdog kind of shonens. So it's like we have a character that's already pretty strong. They're going to this school where it's known for really good fighters. It's known for delinquents and fighting. And he's not going to be at the bottom. He's not even going to be average. He's going to be above average starting off. You can just tell like the kid is strong. So the whole anime is not going to be focused on like, okay, how strong can we possibly make this kid? It's going to be a nice balance. It's going to be what I wished Vinland Saga was, because Vinland Saga, like I personally love season 1 and 2, but Blake, you talked about how, and a lot of people agree with you, how season 1, ton of action, ton of fighting, amazing, hooked. Season 2 was all character development, and as I enjoyed that, it was a massive difference. It was 100% just full speed to then just no speed at all, and we're just gonna, Farmer Thorfinn, and there you go. And a lot of it lost a lot of people on that, and I don't blame them. But then we have Windbreaker, where it's like that perfect balance, where we're gonna have those amazing fight scenes. We're gonna have a lot of them because we already had two or like three, and they looked sick. The animation was awesome. But then we're also gonna have the character development. We're gonna have the story building. We're gonna have characters that are awesome that surround him. And dude, I can't wait for all of that because that is gonna be so sick. It's just like I honestly think Windbreaker is going to be one of my favorite animes. I think I'm gonna enjoy it more than Solo Leveling, more than Jujutsu Kaisen, more than Demon Slayer, more than more than just the majority of them. I'm hooked on it. I absolutely love it.
Let's go. Yeah, I'm pumped to see where it goes. Like there it seems like there's a ton of good characters, and like you said, I'm interested to see like the surrounding cast and like his friends that he meets at school or however that develops. But yeah, absolutely outstanding first episode. It kind of like with the whole like delinquent setting and like you have a bunch of fighters at school and stuff. It's giving me like Tokyo Revenger vibes, but very different than like Takamichi. I feel like Sakura, like you said, is like above average. He's definitely got some good fighting skills, which we saw in the first episode. So that's kind of exciting. I feel like it'll be better paced and like I don't know. He's maybe easier to latch on to Sakura. I mean, he looks badass. He's got a great design, but like, he's definitely got some skills. So I feel like he'll be an easier guy to rock with, and like the first season.
Yeah, so was Windbreaker from the same guy that wrote Tokyo Adventures? Because they do seem
Nah.
very similar. Because I got the same kind of vibes, I guess, with like the whole fighting and kind of like street gang type thing. They do seem super similar. But I mean, Tokyo Revengers has sick characters. It's just the story's just hard to grasp for some people because it's constantly like he's going back in time all the time and nothing's working, and he's also so helpless. But like now we actually have a character where it's like we have the same kind of vibe, except we have a competent character that's actually pretty strong and is not like this helpless, pathetic character, main character. He's sick.
Yeah, honestly, that's a big one for me. I mean, growing up, like I feel like people like Ichigo and Luffy, they take forever to like get power ups, and in like your typical long running shonen, it takes them a while to get strong. So for some like shorter anime, I don't know, I just want to rock with a badass main character. I'm simple, you know what I mean, short and easy. So I think Sakura will definitely be sick, but it'll be cool to see the other like big players at the school, like who some of the other villains are, and I guess kind of like what the town's all about. I guess it's very violent, so that'll be cool, like you said, to see the world building and kind of how that all like develops and comes together.
I'm also really interested to see about his family because we got no evidence of this guy having a family from the first episode. It seemed like he didn't have any siblings. We didn't see a mom or dad. It seemed like he kind of just was in his room that seemed very bare minimum and no like mention, no whisper of anybody else. So I'd love to see, is this guy alone? Is this guy like have family? They're just not really around. Like what's kind of going on with that? That'd be definitely an interesting thing because like you can tell like a lot of his problems are more mentally from all the things that people keep saying to him. So
Hmm.
I think it would be very interesting to see that kind of aspect of it.
That's a really good point. Like there's a good amount of flashbacks of like his hometown and like you said, his family. Everybody's like very standoffish and doesn't like him. I guess because of the way he looks. He's got a crazy look going on, which I think is sick.
Yeah, it is. It's
Um,
so cool.
they're just hating. They're jealous. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
But
for
yeah, he's
real.
obviously got like no attachment to his hometown or I guess his family. So it'd be cool to get a little backstory on that and to kind of see, maybe why they really don't like him or what the issue is. Because if it's just his look, I gotta disagree. I think he looks sick.
Yeah, I think that was kind of like the start of it. Kind of like people kind of kept giving him shit for it, then started kind of picking on him for it. Then he gets angry, then he starts fighting, and then it just creates this violent cycle. And then but you can tell like they all like treat him like a delinquent, like a like scum of the earth, like the lowest of the low. And then he thinks of himself in that way, and that's kind of what we saw in the beginning for this first episode. They kind of tell him like, "Hey, dude, like this isn't no like that's not like you saved that girl, you helped that old dude, no one asked you to, like you're a good person, you just like fighting, so like who cares, no one's gonna like cast a stone at you at this new town, they're actually gonna worship you and actually be grateful for the things that you do, and they're gonna allow you to like be who you want to be who you are instead of kind of put you into a role." So I think that that's gonna be really cool, and seeing that kind of character development side of it's gonna be really awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you. I think he has like a Sakura has a sense of justice almost. You know what I mean? Like going out of his way to help Tachibana in like a stressful situation, a new town. You probably don't want to make a lot of noise, but he seems like he's there for that. But he still does the right thing. He doesn't just beat up, some delinquents for no reason. Um, Tachibana, excellent, excellent design though. We love the bob, very good stuff. But she seems cool. Like I guess she's a little bit older than him, so it'll be cool to see like their relationship and kind of how she like helps guide him if he doesn't have anybody in his life. You know what I mean? No older siblings or parents or whatever around.
It's gonna be interesting too because I think, again, I don't read the manga. I think she has a younger brother that goes to the school because when the one
Okay.
dude stepped up and came in, he was like, "We don't need to tell who about what's going on that you needed saving," because they refused to use his name. So I think that her like little brother, who might be protective over her, is kind of like the top dog at that school. So I think that that's gonna,
Ah,
if
that's
that is
sick.
true, again, I'm just making stuff up here. So that would be kind of a cool dynamic if he's like friends with her and like they're super close, but then it's like he's after her brother because he wants to be the top dog. That would be like a really cool kind of aspect. And also, I love how this dude is strong. He's cool, but man, does he fumble with the ladies, dude.
Yeah,
She got
yeah.
him flustered so many times where she's like, "Oh, thank you," and he's like, "What? No, I didn't save you." It's like bro just beat up six people, and now he's like shivering because she said thank you.
Yeah, definitely struggling with the gratitude and affection, but hopefully as he gets friends and hangs around Tachibana, he'll get used to that. But you're right, it was funny seeing him get like flushed and embarrassed. That was good.
Yeah, she's like, wow, you're a good guy, and he's like, what? No, I didn't. What? What
Yeah,
are you
yeah, it was
talking
just like
about?
normal for him.
Yeah. Yeah, but I definitely thought that was an awesome first episode. I thought that was sick. The last little scene was awesome too. Him just kicking that dude in the face. He's like, "Yes, this town's awesome. This is like made for me." So I'm definitely so excited to see where it goes. Like I said, I think it's easily going to be one of my favorite animes. I think it just checks every box and it's just super sick. Sadly, I don't think it's going to be super popular. I think it's going to be kind of a case where it's like Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man where like it kind of is. At least I heard about it the same time I heard about Solo Leveling, and they're both kind of being promoted at the same time. And of course, Solo Leveling is just
Mm.
towers over it. It just outshines it completely, kind of like Jujutsu Kaisen does with Chainsaw Man. So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully, Windbreaker still gets his love because as we see now, Chainsaw Man's kind of it's. I don't really know, but it seems like Chainsaw Man's kind of on the brink of like being canceled in a way. It seems like
Yeah,
Mappa
I don't know
doesn't want to put
what's
resources into it or something.
and like I guess Mappa's like pretty thin as far as like workload and how many people they got, on staff and all that, but I would hope somebody else would pick it up because I love Chainsaw Man. And the manga's still kicking, so hopefully somebody picks it up. But yeah, it's kind of awkward to see that exchange of like, the same studio having like super popular animes. But I definitely got faith in Cloverworks. They always have like huge titles, and from what it seems like, season one was really well done. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think I think Windbreaker should be good, but yeah, a little worried on Chainsaw Man. Would definitely like some news. You know what I mean? Keep
Yeah.
me going here.
Well, so I wasn't sure that like if Windbreaker and Solo Leveling were part of the same animation studio. I was just saying kind of like at the same time. So I know that's the case with Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man, and that's why you kind of have that little bit of friction. Um, but I was just saying in the terms of like popularity because like dude, anime watchers were passionate. So some people ride a certain ship a little too hard. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
kind of just focus more on one and then kind of I guess don't like the competition instead of embracing it all and be like, oh wow, we have a ton of great animes, love it all. It's kind of like, no, this is all crap because I love this one and this is the best. So that's where you kind of don't want to see, Windbreaker kind of get knocked down a peg. But to be honest, I also been seeing things where Solo Leveling's not doing as good as people thought it would. It wasn't number one on the charts
Yeah.
that many times either. So it's kind of interesting how insane the competition for anime has gotten. I mean, we're getting animes that come in and that are just like shining, and are doing so well. And then you have a really anticipated big anime come out, and it still struggles to get to the top. Like you need to really do a good job in order to create an anime that's gonna have that cult like passion with it now.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably tough. I guess Solo Leveling didn't do that well. I don't know like what expectations are, I guess, versus budgets and all that, but I guess it started a little slow. You know what I mean? You probably got 7 or 8 episodes in before things really picked up. So it'd be interesting to know like the percentage of people that made it, all the way through the season versus where they dropped off. Because I could see it getting slow, but it's definitely worth finishing for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
But I could see what you mean with like Windbreaker getting like overshadowed by some of the more popular animes, and there's a lot. You got like Jobless Reincarnation, Demon Slayer. If there's another anime you want to check out, I keep saying it every single week, but I did put it in the watch list. Tokyo
Tokyo
Ghoul.
Ghoul.
Like you want to go back and watch something? Yeah, like it's easy to get distracted, but I could see that like maybe slipping through the cracks. Because there's still stuff coming out next week, like Kaiju and um, yeah, I could definitely see that, but hopefully not, because Windbreaker is very promising.
Yeah, and just so I forget too, Chainsaw Man is coming out the movie. I'm just not sure if it's one of those things where like the movie's dependent, like the results of it and how it does depends
Mm,
on it if we're gonna continue it or not. But it is coming out the movie. I'm super stoked, and I'm getting the boys together and we're gonna go watch it. Whenever it does
that'll
drop,
be
because it is
sick.
the Bomb Devil arc, I think it is, and people are saying that that is absolutely insane. So I'm stoked. I hope that Chainsaw Man still has a big fan base, and I'm definitely a part of it. There's so many animes to love. But I definitely do hope it gets the love it deserves instead of kind of being compared to Jujutsu Kaisen all the time. But yeah, it's like one of those crazy things because like we look at the last anime season And there were so many animes that it's not that Solo Leveling is bad. I mean, I think we both really enjoyed it. We talked about it a ton. I think a ton of
Hmm.
people enjoyed it. But then you have so many other animes like, okay, The Apothecary's Diary, the Frieren, you had, then Shangri-La Frontier, you had Undead Unluck, you had, Classroom of the Elite, you had all these other animes where it's like a lot of them weren't super hyped up coming into the season, but then they got super popular. That anime on HBO, there's so many. The Dangers of My Heart from High Dive, there's so many that it's just like, it's hard now for certain animes to really get that cult like fan base, because like if we look back, just 10 years ago, there was only a couple of animes that were like really like that level that everyone can kind of just like go to, and it was like that was the anime. But now it's like we have so many that kind of come in like very low key and then just hit and are just very good with great stories, great characters, great animation, and now that love and that kind of attention is completely spread out. So getting that number one spot, it's going to be a lot tougher. But you'd want to hope that like they look at like it still makes a ton of money. You know what I mean? We just have more people that are watching anime, and people are just watching more anime now.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You didn't really have the access. Like, I mean, you have streaming apps on your phone,
Mm-hmm.
tablet, every device possible. It's easy to get. Like, even on your lunch break, like, I'll pop an episode or whatever. You know what I mean? You have YouTube, so that is a really good point. It is more saturated, so I think it's tougher to kind of cut through some of that, but hopefully, we can highlight some of the better animes of the season and put people onto them, because stuff like Windbreaker, I feel like it's important because you have like a big studio doing it. It's obviously got like a decent budget. Hopefully the story backs it up, but it seems awesome, so hopefully people enjoy it.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about this anime season compared to the last one. Is the last one I feel like it had a lot more low key animes. Like I don't think there was a ton of hype with like Apothecary Diaries, like I said, Shangri-La, Frieren going into it. It was just a ton of new season Clash with the Elite, Solo Leveling. But this anime season, I mean, dude, the dogs are out. We got the big guns because we have My
For
Hero
sure.
Academia. We have Jobless Reincarnation. Like we have a ton of massive animes coming back with their like sixth, seventh, whatever season. You know what I mean? That are established animes. So you got some big boys, competing here, and then it's kind of like you want to look at the little animes that are kind of coming in with like Windbreaker, and then like you said, Kaiju number 8. That looks so sick. So you just hope that they all kind of get that love and none of them get overshadowed. I mean, personally, I feel like we're gonna be talking about the more low key ones, just because I feel like everyone talks about My Hero Academia, everyone talks about Jobless Reincarnation. I bet we'll bring it up, but like definitely, I feel like the newer ones are going to be very interesting because they're just a bit more low key. They're a bit newer. There's a bit more question around them. We don't really got a whole idea about them, but be careful, boys, because it is the beginning of the anime season, which means there's some animes that look really, really good right now that could fade off. That's the type of thing you kind of see with anime seasons about halfway through, is that some of them have kind of slower starts and then they just go insane. You're like, oh god, I gotta watch this anime and catch up on that now because I completely missed that. And then there's animes that you kind of jump on that bandwagon right in the beginning, and then it's like it burnt out. It burned a little too hot in the beginning, and now it's gone. So that would be interesting to see what this anime season looks like in a couple of weeks, in like a month or two. But I'm super excited. I mean, we also have. You said you watched Bartender. You got around to watching that. What was that like?
Yeah, Camino Glass. So like I thought it just looked cool, but after watching a full episode, I really enjoyed it. I definitely think it's worth checking out. I don't know how it'll pan out. I didn't really read into it at all, but I liked it. He's Sasakura, I guess is his name. He's like this bartender. They kind of paint him in like a forgetful, ditzy way. Like he leaves his library book, his wallet, doesn't know how to use a smartphone. So guys kind of seems like an idiot. You know what I mean? And these two girls run into him, as he leaves his library book in the park. They got to show him how to use his phone. They're looking for a bartender to fill this empty role in this new hotel. So the requirements for this job are like super strict. He has to know all these things. As an avid bar goer, these are questions I've never asked, which I thought was pretty funny. He's like, "Make me your specialty." The guy makes a martini or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, you haven't asked whether I've ate or not. You're giving me such a strong drink." And it's like, this is classy bar etiquette, which I kind of got a kick out of. Um, like I had seen some in Osaka and Tokyo that were like really nice bars, but I stay away. But it was
Still.
it was kind of cool to see. Like, eventually they run into him at a ramen restaurant, and I guess he's a regular there, whatever. they get a beer or whatever. And she complains about her highball. And like for reference, you can get a highball at like 7-Eleven or Family Mart or whatever. It just is like a tall boy, like a regular can, like a Miller Lite here or whatever. Just cheap whiskey, like club soda, tastes great, super cheap. It's awesome. So she orders a highball and complains that it's too watered down, not enough whiskey. And then when they eventually stumble upon him on the internet, they like track this guy down, Sasakura, and like interview him kind of and like ask him to make certain drinks and stuff, like put him on the spot, and he just delivers every time. Eventually, the one girl asks him to make, make me a drink that would like suit me. So it puts him on the spot. He makes her a highball, and the only reason I know this is because of Instagram. He like cuts the ice up the right way, like the real dense part, so it doesn't melt and stuff. It's like in Ginza, this fancy area in Tokyo. Just like very well done for a first episode, I think. She obviously loves the drink, and it'll be interesting to see if like he'll leave this job. I guess he's been overseas and stuff, so his background is kind of like cloudy. They don't really go into it too much. But it seems like these two girls are going to try and get him to be the bartender there.
That's
But I like
interesting.
that. I thought it was cool. Like it's kind of funny and like I enjoy like drinking and stuff, but like this is like a classy bar. So it was funny seeing like an anime made out of that. And I did see that it had been adapted back in the day in 2006. So I don't know if there's like a fandom for it or not. It
I
said it
heard
was
it
well
sucked.
received.
That's
Yeah,
the thing.
everything I saw was very negative. That's
Yeah,
why I was like, I'll check it out. You know what I mean? I thought it was a great episode one, very casual, very like slice of life-ish. You know what I mean? Nothing too serious, but
because like
definitely worth checking out.
people definitely brought up like things that like I didn't really think of is that like each episode seems like it's going to be different with like kind of like different characters. It's not like a continuous story. And I was like, oh, I can see how that wouldn't be a great thing. And people are
Mm,
saying that stuff like that has been attempted multiple times in the past, and it's always been a dud. It's always been kind of meh. I'm like, you know what? I can totally see that. I can see that being very cool and very interesting because then each week is something different. But if you don't have that constant kind of thread, something that is staying the same or
mhm.
progressing, I feel like then it can kind of get bad. Like if you kind of told the story of the bartender as well as his experiences during the day with like certain customers, that would be really cool. But yeah, I've yet to be able to watch it because I've just been slammed, and then I saw those kind of bad remarks. I'm like, okay, I can't really make time to watch this because it doesn't seem like it's gonna hit. But like, we'll see what Blake says. If Blake gives the
I
old
liked it.
stamp, I'll check it out because I definitely like have to. But like, uh, yeah, definitely an interesting one. I ended up watching a condition called love, and that one's interesting. I don't know what's gonna happen with this. I was actually talking to a friend that actually brought it up. They're like, dude, I watched it, wholesome as fuck. I'm like, yeah, I love it. It's cute, it's
Nice.
funny. But it's one of those animes that like you're kind of watching, you're kind of like, wow, this could be like. Remember I said like earlier how some animes kind of start hot, but then they just die off midway through. This could be one of them. I hope that is not the case, but it's really kind of cute because you have the girl main character who has never experienced love before, and she doesn't really care for it or is interested in it. She's like, oh, so if you're in love with somebody, they're more important than you than your friends and family. And her friend's like, yeah, yeah. And she's like, well, I love my friends and family. I wouldn't want to be in love if that's the case. You know what I mean? Like she's so adorable. But like she's like never like experienced it. She doesn't understand it at all. And then you have the guy who's like this super popular, attractive guy. And it starts off in this we're little first episode spoiler to kind of talk about what it's about. They're in like an ice cream shop, and he's breaking up with his girlfriend, and she's freaking out, calling him names, saying mean things, and the girl is overhearing it, a girl and her friend, and she's like that's so mean. If you love somebody, like why would you say that about, like that's hurtful. And her friend's like, oh my god, like he's so high, like everyone loves him, like how don't you know who he is and stuff like that. So the guy and the ex, leave the place, and then the girl and her friend, end up leaving, and they end up parting ways to go home. And she's walking home, and she sees that, he's just sitting in the park bench alone, getting snowed on without an umbrella. And she's like, puts the umbrella over him. She's like, hey, like you're gonna get cold, like, whatever. And it's kind of like, like, hey, I heard what happened. Like, I'm sorry. She's just being nice to him, and he ends up like falling in love with her because the thing with
Ah.
him is that like she's never felt love, but with him, like he is this hot guy, but his personality does not match that. So whenever these girls who create this fantasy of him, this illusion of him, then meet him and talk to him, they end up kind of getting weird. Like, oh, this isn't what I dreamt of. You know what I mean? And he's like, every time I like
Yeah.
talk to these girls, the more we talk, the more distant they get, and the worse it gets. So he's like, but with you just talked to me like I was normal, and it was so easy to talk to you and everything like that. But like he goes out of his like, he's a little too clingy. So like he ends up like changing his appearance for her, ends up doing all these things for her, and he's just like very like helpless. Like it's like, dude, like you gotta stop. You're getting a little creepy. But at the end of the episode, they finally decide that they're gonna go out. So it's kind of like these two people who are so awkward and but just like wholesome, like awkward but wholesome in good ways. And they're dating, and it's like they're gonna. It seems like the season is going to be about the relationship and kind of like these outside kind of factors being inflicted on the relationship like normal, and it's going to see how they can learn and grow and progress through all that. So it does seem like it is really cute, it is funny, it is nice, but yeah, it could burn out halfway through, but like it looks good, I have faith for it, and if not, next anime season, I think Blue Box is coming out. Blue Box, and that seems like that's going to be a really amazing romance anime. But if this is the only romance anime we have this season, it's got to last the season. You know what I mean? Like it can't
Yeah.
burn out. So I hope they add stuff in that really makes it like interesting and good. But like definitely enjoyed it.
Nice, man. I'll have to check it out. Always down for a good rom-com, good romance, coming of age, Seems very relatable too. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty funny. I feel like everybody can relate to that in a way, but yeah,
Yeah,
it sounds good. I definitely will have to check it out.
yeah. I like how they're both weird because usually whenever you have one of those kind of animes, it's kind of like something's wrong with the one person but like not the other. So it's kind of nice. It's kind of like aw, like you
Yeah.
have two quirky people that kind of find each other, and it's like you just want them to be happy. So it's definitely gonna
Yeah, for
be
sure.
a good one to watch. But dude, yeah, it was a great week of anime. Was there any other animes
Very
that
good
came out?
stuff. I was looking, there was a bunch of like isekai stuff that came out. I didn't get as much time as I wanted to. I'll just probably have to like peruse through a few episodes. Every time I like start adding stuff to my watch list, I'm like, there's Tokyo Ghoul looking at you.
Dude,
So
you're
one
gonna
of these
have
days,
to.
I'm gonna pound out like a couple episodes and I'll just ambush the pod with Tokyo Ghoul content.
Uh, you're gonna have like we're definitely gonna be talking a ton about it. I mean, it's so good. It's a great
I
anime. It's one
haven't
of my
I haven't
favorite.
been spoiled at all either. Like a bunch of people I'm friends with have watched it. You've watched it. Like I've never seen. I know like the premise. I've seen like the
Hmm.
first episode or two like several times and just never followed through. So I gotta get it out of the way while it's still fresh and unspoiled.
Yeah, dude, definitely do. We're gonna talk a ton about it. And I was just looking on Crunchyroll to see like, oh, did I miss anything? And yo, Crunchyroll is like promoting Kaiju number eight. So I'm thinking that it's gonna be really good because they not only dropped a trailer in every language pretty much, be like, hey, like check this out, all this stuff. But the second I opened up the app, it said, hey, there's actually gonna be a premiere live stream that if you're a subscriber to Crunchyroll, you can opt in and then everyone can watch the premiere together. So
That's
they're
huge.
taking out all the tops of Kaiju number eight. So I'm looking at Windbreaker, like thinking that it was going to be the new anime of this anime season. The one that's like, oh damn, that isn't that's coming out the first season that it's just like takes over. But if Kaiju number eight rivals it, like, dude, we're
I'm
gonna have
hype.
a great but busy season because there is so many animes that are just
I'm super excited. Like you said, there's a lot of good stuff, but like just going through the list and like I'll just look at like who animates it. You know what I mean? If it's like
yeah.
Mappa or Cloverworks, 9 times out of 10, it'll be good enough to watch. You know, and it'd be visually appealing or whatever. I was like, I thought the same thing. Windbreaker would be like a premiere anime. Obviously, like you said, Demon Slayer, My Hero, those will always be pretty popular. But other stuff like Freer and I had no idea about ends up being huge, very, very good anime. I was like, yeah, Windbreaker will be that. But I know Kaiju has a huge following for the manga, and the manga looks sick. But once I heard it was getting animated, I've done my best not to spoil it. So I think it'll be really successful. So it's nice to see them like doing promotion and stuff because I feel like it is important. Like you might run into something on social media or whatever or Reddit, um, but until you like see a clip or catch an episode or whatever, it's tough to like commit to something you don't know anything about. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll help people get into it because I think Kaiju will be sick for sure.
Yeah, because that is the problem that we all are guilty of. That like appearances are kind of everything in anime. And anime can have some really weird appearances, so it can make it sometimes hard to get into certain animes. But then you do, and you're like, oh my god, this anime is sick. You know what I mean? So that's why like Instagram, like you were saying, all these different sites where you have like these little clips of the anime. They really help kind of get you into it. And yeah, like I think it's awesome that they are like promoting it more because dude, like I mean, the Apothecary's Diary, that was amazing. As so like that was another I think was low key and it was sick because I finally finished it. You know, the dub came out last episode, and at the end they had that little scene where it was like season 2 is confirmed, and you're like, fuck yeah,
Yes,
boys.
let's go.
You know, just
Hell
getting
yeah.
amped after the last episode. So you know, I think that kind of stuff's important because like you got to remember too, like not everyone is absolutely obsessed with anime, so not everyone like keeps a lookout for all these new animes. Not everyone is looking at the release calendar like, okay, well, what's coming out? Is this good? Is that good? Not everyone's feed is absolutely slammed with anime content because there's stuff like I said, Link Click that is so good. Like that is a top tier anime, but is incredibly slept on because it's not getting promoted. It's not getting looked at. It's a Chinese anime, and those are a bit harder to get attention of people. You know, it's something that slipped through the cracks and is super hard to see. I don't even know how I found it, to be honest, but you know, I found it, and now I'm trying to recommend it to everybody because it is that good. Um, and it's like the fact that there's so many animes like that a lot of people miss out on and don't kind of realize or see, you know, it sucks. So the fact that Crunchyroll is starting to then look at these animes and starting to give some hype, some promotion, and starting to do more, I think is sick. Especially because I'm seeing them do watch parties with like VTubers and other anime influencers and stuff like that. So I think that stuff is amazing. I wish they would do it with lower like a bit more low key animes, you know, because then it kind of brings more attention to them. But like that kind of stuff's sick. I hope Crunchyroll really kind of keeps up with that and really kind of collabs with the community a lot, but then also keeps promoting and doing the stuff for the lower key animes.
That's huge. I didn't even know about that. But like, even just like popping in to watch like the live stream or whatever. Like, I'm gonna watch Kaiju regardless. Like, if it has a live stream, I'll check that out. That's super cool. But I think the more accessible it becomes, like I know Crunchyroll's spending a lot of money to kind of like be the provider or purveyor, if you will, of anime. Um, I think that's awesome. You know what I mean? It'll just make it easier to find, more accessible, and like you said, the more spaces you can kind of catch a clip or whatever, I think more people will be willing to check it out. But you're definitely right. Like we all don't have time to watch like a ton of anime or watch like 4 different episodes. Like when I get home from work, it's just like TV on, like
Yep.
butt and couch. Yeah. Like, um, so like, yeah, like you said, whatever you can do to like maybe put somebody on to like a smaller anime. Cause if you want to watch One Piece, you'll find One Piece. You know what I mean? It's easy to find that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Those bigger named
so
animes.
hopefully, yeah, or putting somebody onto like even like a nice slice of life or like a nice romance thing. It's just a nice like change of pace, and yeah, some of those wholesome animes really are nice.
Yeah, and it's like kind of like what you were saying though, like those big name animes, they already established a name, so they already have a fan base. They're already gonna get that promotion on their own. But what you were saying that like, oh, whether it's a live stream or not, you're gonna be watching it. Like to me, Kaiju number 8 is that low key anime. It's that anime I know nothing about because me and a ton of other people don't read the manga, so I don't know it for that big manga. It's a chance where
Hmm.
I might not have watched it because I didn't even know about it until you said something. So I would have had to have checked, you know, the release calendar and it would have popped up. You know, if I didn't do the podcast, you know, who knows if I would have started, you know, at the beginning with Kaiju number 8. It could have been one of those animes where I ended up seeing a clip 6 episodes in. I'm like, oh, this seems cool. Let's check it out. You know, so the fact that they are like doing stuff where like, hey, we're gonna do a premiere and do a live stream, that's what kind of shows like the, less informed watchers like myself be like, oh wait, what's this anime? It's like it's being premiered, so it must be good, it must be big, you know what I mean? And it kind of helps, you know, show that to certain oblivious people, I should say, like me. So that's what I appreciate from Crunchyroll.
Heck yeah, yeah. It's nice to see it's getting more popular over here too, because like I would imagine in Japan it's a lot easier to find whatever, where you have like manga, you know what I mean? You can read at your own pace. So I think it's being well done. I appreciate Crunchyroll. Of all the like streaming services I'll pay for, that is easily the one I'm like, oh yeah, easily pay up for a year or whatever.
No, absolutely, it is the best. I love everything about it. It is, yeah, we use it a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Worth every
We
penny.
get our money's worth. But yeah, I think that is it. I mean, dude, what a first week of anime. Just absolutely incredible. So many great ones. If you watched a new anime that came out, you thought it was very good, and we did not talk about it, let us know because there has to be some sleepers that we haven't picked up on. Like I said, I don't know how many sleepers are going to be in this season, because there's just so many big names that are coming out. I feel like everything's just a massive hit this anime season, so that's what's crazy. But like You never know. So if you're seeing an anime that is coming out or came out and you think it's sick, let us know. We'll definitely have to check it out. Do our due diligence per se.
Yeah.
But I think that is it. You got anything else to say, man?
Sweet. Yeah, just thanks to everybody who's watching, commenting, all that stuff, subscribing. We appreciate it. It's been a blast, and I'm really excited to see what comes out of this season. Like you said, I think there's a lot of big dogs out there, which we'll certainly be watching, but I'm sure we'll find a couple sleepers. I'm sure there's one or two out there, and obviously Windbreaker, I have high expectations for.
Oh, dude, I'm the captain of that bandwagon. I mean, I'm driving
Yeah.
the ship. I love that anime so much right now. So if it lets me down, I'm gonna be so upset. But I don't think it will. Like you said, I think this season is gonna be phenomenal of anime. So hope you guys are excited. We are, and like he said, we love and appreciate your support. So that is it. Enjoy everybody, and see you next week. Peace.